Hi, my name's Jane McCallion. I'm Features Editor at IT Pro. Welcome to this panel discussion on edge computing. I'm joined by Adam Shepherd, Reviews Editor, and Connor Jones, Staff Writer. Welcome. Connor, 5G is obviously one of the exciting new sort of radio technologies, wireless technologies that's coming up. Does that have any input or influence on edge computing at all?
Yeah, definitely. So with 5G, I think a lot of the misconception is that it's a consumer technology, and it's just not. It's one of the key drivers of Industry 4.0, and edge computing is going to make use of this just as much as an everyday mobile phone user. So yeah, but coming back to that point I made about the distance between headquarters and the offshore site, efficient fibre cable isn't always going to be the most effective network solution for these guys. So deploying 5G solutions at these offshore sites can help the transmission of that data be done much quicker. And it's being evidenced right now. It's even working really well with 4G at the moment.
And so both of you, this is an exciting and emerging technology. Where might we see it going in the future? What kind of new future technologies might it enable?
Well, autonomous vehicles are one area that are set to use edge computing really extensively. It's projected to be a $556 billion industry by 2025. And because of the nature of the technology, a lot of the processing will need to be done at the edge, which in this case is in the cars themselves. So while the cars are ingesting the data from things like LiDAR arrays and all the sensors and whatnot that give the car the information about its surroundings, about oncoming traffic, pedestrians, etc., the processing and interpretation of that data needs to be done in real time by the car itself. It can't rely on transferring the data to the cloud and back, because the latency is just too great. And in that situation, latency is everything, because a split-second delay can mean the difference between avoiding a crash and not avoiding a crash. So that's one really big area where we're going to see it come into play a lot more. Most of the major car manufacturers have invested heavily in this kind of edge computing technology for their autonomous cars. Companies like Ford, General Motors, etc. have invested multi-million-dollar sums in this technology.
Yeah, further to that, with the autonomous car side of things, the potential for this to create safer roads is really high. So for example, I mentioned earlier HP are a big player in the hardware side of things. These guys have partnered with Continental, the tyre manufacturers for cars. They've created a sort of like an online blockchain-based data marketplace where this data collected by cars and processed by their edge computing powers can be sent back to this database and then used to, so for example, detecting a pothole. Say you've got a fleet of Volkswagens on the A14, let's say, and all these Volkswagens consistently pick up the same pothole on this road. This data is then going to be sent back into this platform and then used to transmit back to all other Volkswagens on that same road in that same fleet, just maybe 5 minutes behind them. And that's going to allow them to make journey alterations if need be. And it doesn't have to just be potholes. It can be like oil slicks. It can be, frosted roads and that kind of thing.
Or even just traffic problems.
Even just traffic problems, yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us for this discussion. We hope that you've learnt a little bit more about edge computing. Be sure to check out the rest of our content on this on itpro.co.uk.